Step it up would be, unfortunately, my team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the whole. I don't know who to pin this on. Do I pin it on the quarterback? Do I pin it on the coaching? Do I pin it on the owner? I'm going to go the whole way to the top. Sorry to do this, but to Mr. Rooney, the owner, who loyalty is one thing, but misguided loyalty is something else. And the Steelers offense is, I don't want to go through the stats because they're very painful for me to read out, but they're very, very concerning, and something needs to be done. If it's not going to happen this week, it's already too late, but definitely before we come out of the bye week, we've got a bye after Baltimore upcoming this week. The OC needs to be gone already, but because you don't know what you've got in the quarterback. The signs don't look good with the quarterback, but you don't know until you actually give him a chance. And that involves getting rid of the OC against the Texans, who had, by the way, one starting offensive lineman against the Steelers pass rush. Do you know what the Texans did? They chipped Highsmith, chipped TJ Watt, left fullbacks, wide receivers who weren't running open in the backfield as part of their scheme to take away the Steelers' strength. What did the Steelers do when they were on offense? They threw screens behind the line and more screens behind the line. And yeah, it was just a total embarrassment. So I'm going to just say that the whole Steelers organization, but Mr. Rooney has to make tough decisions and fire people, which is not the Pittsburgh way to do, but you've got to evolve. If you don't evolve, you die.
Okay, cool. I'll hit with my step it up for last week. It's got to be the Giants' offense and O-line. Surprised that we haven't actually mentioned them yet, 4 weeks through the year, because they've been pretty shocking. But I think on the game this week, just took it to a whole new level. I'm trying to remember the last time I saw a quarterback get sacked 11 times. I can't think of any time off the top of my head. I get it. You're missing some guys, but it's the NFL. Next man up. You've got to have someone that is suitable to at least cover a hole temporarily. It's pitiful. It's been pitiful all year. He got sacked 11 times, got hit 14 times, and yeah, in the game last week, threw 2 picks, lost a fumble. It's just not good enough. Now, this is a guy, I can't remember exactly what he got paid in the summer. This is not a guy that should have been getting that contract, and I think they've now realised, a bit too late, unfortunately, that this is going to be an expensive mistake. I haven't seen how the contract is, how it's split out over the years. I know you're pretty good with that sort of stuff, Jay. They're going to do nothing with him at quarterback. They have no hope. No hope. He's not good enough. He can rush for some yards, but he's not the guy. It's been 4 weeks, not seen any good performances. They got 40 points put on them, absolutely embarrassed in week 1 against the Cowboys. Didn't get embarrassed against the Seahawks, but it was a comfortable victory. And the O-line should be embarrassed, that's for sure. You got to protect your quarterback. They gave up on it. They quit. They looked like they didn't want to be there. And it's not good enough. And the minimum any fan expects when you're watching your team play, even if it's not your team, you expect you're not going to have the same talent levels across the board, but effort is what everyone expects. Give it 100%. We can deal with that. But yeah, they clearly didn't try after that pick when it was potentially going to be a 1-possession game. They just threw down the tools and was like, yeah, here's the white flag. for me, it's not good enough in professional sports, let alone NFL. So yeah, for me, Giants O-line and offense, step it up. And yourself, Jake, what about your step it up moment for week 4?
So similar to Paul, unfortunately, this week, I'm focusing on Matt Canada. It's 2023 in the NFL, which means that all the advantages are on the side of offense. And watching that Texans-Steelers film, I just can't believe how few plays there are where there's a Steelers receiver open. I mean, the standard for an offensive coordinator now is that you have to be able to scheme receivers open. And I just don't think that's happening anywhere near enough for the Steelers right now. And as Paul said, how can we know what Pickett can do if every time he throws the ball that's not a screen is a contested catch? I mean, that's not acceptable. I'm sorry. That's not acceptable in today's NFL. You have to be better, more creative than that. So Matt Canada, big test this week with the Ravens, and then a bye week after that. You are on a short leash. It needs to turn around. Personally, I don't think it's going to turn around with Matt Canada. If the Steelers stick with him, you'll win games, sure, but I don't believe in this offense with Matt Canada as the OC. I just don't.
Cool. Yeah, not the team you want to see on the schedule after a performance like that. That's for sure. If you're a Steelers fan, but yeah, we'll see. Paul, your second step it up for last week.
Slightly different tangent. I'm going with the Dolphins. The Dolphins D, and they're, by reputation at least, their famous defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. The Bills did pretty much what they wanted this past Sunday and laid a complete butt whooping on the Dolphins. And that game, we didn't watch it live because we were on our way back from Wembley. But the game was 14-all, so it was you go, I go, you go, I go, and then the Dolphins stalled on a possession. I think they got penalised. The Bills went down and scored. The Dolphins had a fumble. The Bills went down and scored. The Bills scored on every possession except 2 in the game and put up 48 points. Led the time of possession, 414 total yards. And the Dolphins, they've just got too much talent. Well, reputational talent on this roster on the D side of the ball for this to happen. You know that Buffalo have an explosive offense, but watching the game back, the Bills and how they won the game, they threw deep balls, they threw short balls to the tight ends crossing over the field, they ran the ball, they did what they wanted. The Dolphins have talent in name, at least, on that side of the ball. And they've got this supposedly guru DC. Now, the only break that I'll give him is it's week 4. But going back through the first 3 weeks, it's not like the Dolphins D played well. It's just that it was masked by the offense scoring on almost every single possession that it had. The Dolphins aren't going to get where they want to go with this D playing the way that it is. So for them to challenge in the AFC like they should be doing with the talent that they have on their roster, the Dolphins DC, Vic Fangio, needs to step it up.
Nice one. Funnily enough, Paul, I had the Dolphins as my step it up too. Echoing a lot of the stuff you said, so this will be a short one, but it wasn't just on the D, it was on the whole team. They went in cocky, very sure of themselves. The T-shirts that they were wearing, what was it, the little emoticon sort of like with this, because we think it's because that they were underdogs, 2.5-point underdogs going into the game. Well, yeah, I'm thinking it's like that because it wasn't enough. It should have been at least a 10-point underdog, not 2.5 points. They like to spend all this time making T-shirts. They clearly should have been on the field practicing a bit more. Yeah, you had a good start to the year. Maybe I think all of us got caught in the moment a little bit, in love with the Dolphins and how well they played. Obviously, so powerful on offense and okay, nothing special on defense. But yeah, it's one of them. You don't. What happened last week is gone. They won by 50 points, put up 70. That means nothing for the next game, and that showed. If the Bills wanted to, they could have comfortably got to probably about 55, 60 points in a heartbeat. They went easy on them. So hopefully, I'm hoping, because I have a soft spot for Miami. It's a humbling experience for them, and it just brings them down to earth a little bit. And yeah, but I think it's the attitude needs to change. Hopefully that we'll see next week. So yeah, what about you, Jay? Your second step it up performance? Don't tell me it's the Dolphins as well.
No, so just to add on that, it's Miami versus the Giants this week.
Not a bad matchup to get back into the flow of things.
A bounce back game. Yeah, so like my second one, it was going to be the Giants offensive line, but I think you covered that well enough, Rob. So I'm going to go for a different one. It may sound a bit harsh, but I'm going to say Joe Burrow. I want Joe Burrow to step it up.
He was on my
list. There are no moral trophies or bravery awards in the NFL. If you're playing, then you're playing, and I'm going to judge you on your play, not judge you on I'm playing with, an injured calf. Josh Allen, he had an elbow injury in his throwing arm from week 8 last year, and no one gave him a pass, and it was free reign to basically just shit on Josh Allen and say he's not elite anymore. So that's the sort of thing I stay away from. But that's what could come for you, Joe Burrow. So as a fan of Joe Burrow, I want to see the real Joe Burrow. He hasn't been carrying himself with the same level of confidence. So you can tell that injury is really impacting him. But as I said last week, this is a dangerous game. If you're not healthy, don't play. Because the way you played last week, you might as well have not played. It's a negative that you played because you've lost, you didn't play well, and you've put your calf at risk for another week when you could have been recovering for another week. Cardinals this week, it's not all Joe Burrow's fault. There's plenty of protection issues. Schematically, are they creative enough? I don't know. But we're not seeing what we're used to seeing from this team. And I want the real Joe Burrow to show up this week. So yeah, Joe Burrow, I'm still a fan, but step it up.